Hello, everybody, and welcome to LifeTVnow, where we unpack all matters of truth, faith, and freedom. I'm your host, Joe Artis-Horn, and today we're going to be talking about why we're so excited to finally get to launch this brand new program, the inspiration behind why we're launching this new program. But before we dive in, let me introduce who's here. My beautiful wife, Katherine. And my co-host, Jamie Woodle, who is an integrative nutrition health coach with a Master of Science in Health Education. So what is LifeTVnow and why have we decided to launch? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this project has been in the works for a very, very long time. Right, ladies?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We've been talking about this for many, many years. And as both of you know, there's a lot of areas of passion that I have as a human being, partly based on my journey out of what I call the Babylonian construct.
There you go.
And I'll explain what that means in just a minute. But it has to do with my transformation from a very sick person trapped in a system that I believe has been purposefully designed to keep people ignorant, uninformed, very sick, basically slaves to that construct. And as I journeyed out of that, which we can unpack if you want in just a minute, I began to feel like it was time to evangelize others. And as we've done that, as we've kind of, if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, sometimes we feel like Morpheus, where we're offering, the pill for truth, and then the one that allows people to slip back into the reality that they want to stay stuck in because it's familiar for a lot of reasons. We've seen people choose, no, I want out of this matrix. I've been to all the doctors. I've been to all of the churches. I've been to all of the all of the things that we now call the Babylonian construct. And we want truth. And of course, when you know truth, you now have agency in your hands. God has provided you with information that allows you to be more informed and pursue true freedom outside of that construct. So in a quick drive-by fashion, what is the Babylonian system? Well, in our view, and we share this as a panel and as a family, the Babylonian construct is the fake food that people eat. It's giant pharmaceutical companies that develop patented medications that are not even designed to help you heal. They're designed to keep you maybe somewhat mitigated, but really customers for life.
Mostly a Band-Aid.
Mostly a Band-Aid, something that might present, and I say might because my journey through pharmaceuticals did not yield results that I was happy with at all, but I accepted it for years and years and years because these doctors that are supposed to be highly sophisticated, people that I trusted, who probably, by the way, also meant very well in supporting my health, using what they had been trained to do, only contributed to my continual health decline. And I now find myself in my early 30s. I'm eating all of the foods that the doctors are telling me are okay to eat. My symptoms, which we'll get into in just a minute, were cascading and voluminous over many, many years, 25 roughly to be exact, before I had my exodus from that system. They're telling me this is genetic. I can't digest food. I can't methylate, which is probably a brand new word for a lot of our viewers, but it basically has to do with how your body receives, absorbs, stores, converts what it is that you do swallow. So we're going to be unpacking this in the weeks to come, but you can have blood labs that come back in allopathic normal range, seeing a Western doctor, and have all kinds of underlying root causes of autoimmunity that they're trying to mask with pharmaceuticals. You can have hormonal issues that they're trying to treat with synthetic medications while ignoring the underlying root causes to why thyroid function is too high or not enough.
Absolutely.
Why you can't process your food. And so I had low testosterone. It's nearly non-existent. I was 100 pounds overweight. I had diverticulosis, which constantly, about every 2 years, and then became more and more frequent. I had diverticulitis, which is the infection as a side effect of these weak spots in your colon bursting. And now you've got E. coli infecting you. And they're telling you, without surgery, this could go septic, you could die. So in the back of my mind, I've got this time bomb. Now I'm like 34 years old. And I have so little energy that they're testing me for things like Lyme's disease, cytomegalovirus. They're looking at the C word. They want to know how my pancreas is. I can't tell you how many tests we waited with bated breath to see, what the results would be. And if you've ever been out there sitting for those results and you're in a total hysteria about what they could
Right.
be. You know the emotional drain, the psychological drain, the family,
Right.
this 2.5 decades of absolute decline health-wise. And here's the thing, while all of that is going on, I'm a person who would self-identify as one who has faith, and I am crying out to God. Now, this is some of the same types of stuff that many of our viewers are probably going through right now.
Right.
And I'm crying out to God, where is my healing? I've got pastors praying for me. They're speaking
Right.
words over me. I wrote about this, by the way, in 2018 when I put out the book Time Bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That by the grace of God went so viral, it literally blew all of our expectations out of the water. I've traveled all over the United
Right.
States. I was on television, different programs. That book blew the nation away. I mean, it really did. The volume of copies that found itself in the hands of people that were also looking for hope, who identified with my testimony. Because part of it is, I'm crying out to God and my body is shutting down. I have this memory of being 34 and I'm at a park and I have so little energy that all I can do is watch my children play.
Right.
And I am literally sitting there thinking, I hope I have the energy to get an ice cream cone on the way home. Because, again, this is all genetic.
Right. There's no hope.
There's nothing that can be done about these things. Diverticulosis, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammation. No,
hopeless.
it's hopeless. And so I'm like, well, I guess I was just born this way. And now I'm asking God to like repair this disease or to make it go away. Lord, if you could heal me. But we'll be going through the ice cream joint on the way home. But as I would find out over 25 years, when my miracle didn't manifest the way that I've heard others, and I've seen God can do whatever he wants. I've seen healing in people instantly, bam, spontaneous. We were at camp years ago at a Bible camp. This large gentleman named Dino could barely walk. And he got involved in a worship situation, and I mean, he flies backwards, he lands on his back, and at like 16, I'm watching this guy, so this guy is paralyzed. He gets up, and I'm telling you, I caught him like 8 years later, and he was still walking around completely mobile.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he said, God touched me that day, and my spine was healed. I have seen it.
Right.
But that only further confuses then the person that needs the deliverance, because then it becomes a matter of, and you hear this preached a lot, it becomes a matter of, well, where is your faith?
Right.
And now you've got these empty comforters like Job describes when we read the book of Job.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, people miss the fact that it's not just what Job endured and still had faith. It's also the fact that he was surrounded by people that kept asking
The
him, well, Job,
naysayers.
Yeah.
what might you be doing that would allow for these things
Right.
you're experiencing? And that
Yeah.
is so much of the church. We ask God for healing, and in Jesus' name we receive it, right?
Right.
By his stripes we're healed, right?
But then they start asking,
But-
why not me?
But why not me? And those scriptures, by the way, and we can unpack this in the weeks to come, are taken out of context. If you skim down just 2 or 3 more verses, you realize that what Paul is talking about is that if you're a person who has received Christ as your Savior and you have salvation, you are going to be healed. It is already done. It
Right.
doesn't mean that it happens today in your spine
Right.
or in your blood work. It means that when we transcend from this plane of existence
Right.
into eternity with our Messiah and our Creator, we are promised new bodies. That is the theological in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
So let me give you the short version. 25 years of this, people praying for me, and I now go in. They take half of my colon out.
Right.
Wow.
And I remember when I walked in, the doctor that did the surgery, who's a very nice man, and by the way, if you want half of your colon taken out, he was the premium choice in the state of Missouri where we were.
Yep.
I even went out of network to pursue this particular doctor because he was the best. But we walked in, Katherine, and they had a catalog of people that had had their colons entirely removed, and those that had had what's called a partial colectomy, where they cut out the diseased area that was causing my polyps to burst and make me sick.
Yeah.
And I remember almost being in tears when doors were opened to get me into that surgery, because I thought, this is God marching me forward. This is it. I've been praying for years. This is it. They're going to cut out my disease and I'm going to get better.
Yep. You'll be healed.
I'll be healed. I swear. And, people around me are affirming that this could be God's movement. This is and by the way, as I sit here today, I'm not even contesting that perhaps since I was bent on that journey and couldn't hear,
Yep.
wouldn't hear The voices that he put in my way along the journey that said, Joe, have you ever thought about natural medicine? My wife. For years, have you considered essential oils? I'm reading an article. You can place castor oil packs on a sponge, warm it, and then place it just below the liver. You can sleep like this. It'll help you detox perhaps. No. We are a sophisticated society. This is the Babylonian construct right here.
Yeah.
This is the Babylonian construct. I would consider myself a reasonably discerning human, and I am absolutely fit to be tied, not going to hear my wife say words like green tea and castor oil packs.
Right.
And in my view, this is where I'm at. We are sophisticated. We have the brightest minds in the world. People don't go to Harvard for 8 years and spend masses of money on these large degrees to be wrong about stuff. And besides, if it were that simple, wouldn't the whole world be out there, celebrating castor oil packs? Like you are so bought in to a system, you are not even permitting yourself to be open to anything.
Yeah.
So in context, I think maybe God really was using people around me to say, Joe, there's this other way, but I'm at Lord, wife, spouse who has been by my side for decades and who has never steered me wrong. I cannot hear you because the doctor said. And then you recite these people that are supposed to be experts in wellness.
Right.
Because again, the degrees and the sophisticated machinery that we have. My point is you completely buy into that.
You do.
Right, you do.
Mm-hmm.
This other thing, man, of drinking a tea or talking to a naturopathic doctor, this is insanity. The only place in my mind there was for a proactive, natural approach to maybe looking at any way to give me alleviation from what I was literally dying from was, Lord, if I had gone that path maybe 20 years ago before I'm in this dire shape, maybe diet and exercise, which isn't even, diet and exercise isn't even what you think it is if you're brand new to this program, trust me.
Yeah.
And we're going to be unpacking so many layers of the Babylonian construct as we move forward in these programs. I mean, everything from blood pressure to cholesterol. Friends, would you like the red pill or the blue pill? I'm telling you.
Amen. Yep.
Well, this was all prior to 2020 because a lot of people have woken up since 2020, but before
it's
2020.
Much better now and it has come at a tremendous price.
It has.
Unfortunately, and it is my view, it is our shared view that it has taken a lot of very unnecessary casualties.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For a lot of the mainstream culture to kind of step back and go, look, I love my doctor, and I don't believe that my doctor is a part of a malevolent new world order here to depopulate us. I've known this person for 15 years. They genuinely want to help.
They do.
Which is why they took a career in medicine in the first place. So I'm not here to disparage doctors. Some of my favorite people are MDs. This is not about them. It's about where they're getting their information.
Yeah.
Well, they're being lied to as well.
They are.
They are, in my view, they are being deceived. What they are putting forth is what they've been trained to put forth. And again, most of that comes from pharmaceutical companies.
So this didn't
that
help
have
you.
a vested interest in retaining you as a customer. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, Hashimoto's. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, autoimmunity. You can't reverse these things. These are genetic. No, I'm here to tell you that we're living proof that God can restore your body when you begin to fuel it with the nourishment that He has designed for you to receive for your health.
Yeah.
But it is not ever a part of traditional allopathic medicine.
Right.
It is not ever a part of discussion when you visit your primary care physician.
Right.
Mostly. Very quickly, I have half of my colon removed, and to my utter shocking dismay, my problems are compounded.
Yeah.
They are much worse now. I can't digest anything. I'm not making this up. The top of my head would sweat before I had to eat something because I knew that the consequence for swallowing anything was going to be pretty diabolical, sharp-shooting pains.
Yeah.
Lots of hunching over, lots of hold on to my hat, boys, I'm going to need a minute. And that was my lived experience. And by the way, we're not going to be one of those rolling infomercials. You guys have seen the ones, right? Yes. You know, they're trying to sell you something. When we give you health suggestions, they're going to be from our research, from the bottom of our heart, and we're going to give it freely every single week without the need to then go behind a paywall or have to subscribe to something.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I saw on video these get well gimmicks where but you've got to click here to learn what the doctor revealed. Right. And then you get to the page and you just want to know, what is the thing that will help me with this thing I'm dealing with?
Right.
But first, I'm going to tell you in just a minute. And then you go to the video. And now it's a 1-hour video that won't let you rewind fast. You're going to sit through this video.
Yep.
And then at the end, they reveal that the doctors have put out this secret formula of whatever it is. And it may even be a supplement that has some benefit, but they're there to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Or go through a course. I've seen that
Or
too.
go through the course to learn that you're going to buy this thing.
Yeah.
Or pay into a course. So congratulations. Everything that we're going to spill out into this program weekly, and it won't always have to do with parasite detox, liver cleanse. A lot of our programs will be focused on what is going on in the world, how things may be threatening our freedom. My brain goes immediately to 2020. We saw a lot of our rights suspended via executive orders. Local governorships and senators just playing God, in my view, with what you were going to be able to do, telling you that you can't assemble to go to church. Are you kidding me? And the fact that the church at large went along with this. In my view, a lot of the casualties that we witnessed over the last 5 years have been in large part how we've handled things like pandemics and what our messaging on those events have been. The protocols that we were told would keep us safe that had no scientific backing whatsoever. The science that we were told was settled that wasn't. And now, as a side effect of that, and it has come at a tremendous cost, you are seeing a lot of people stepping back now saying, I don't trust a lot of that anymore.
Right.
And now I am wondering if they were being dishonest with us about a lot of that, maybe there are solutions that exist in a natural plane of existence where we have access to something other than just pharmaceuticals. So you are seeing really popular memes and trends now where people are kind of waking up. I feel like now is the time.
Absolutely.
To serve that audience of very curious people. And so, my matrix moment. So several years ago, I am now with my chiropractor, in for reasons completely unrelated to my digestion, my autoimmunity, my epididymitis, my esophagitis. By the way, if you ever hear itis, it really means it's a very sophisticated way of saying that body part or organ is inflamed. Myocarditis. Is this making sense now?
Yeah.
Pick out the organ or the thing, and it's inflammation, and mostly they can't explain to you why this happens. They can only reveal what mathematical framework they're telling you that you belong in, depending on the progression of the disease or the severity of the disease. And again, most of the protocols are not there to restore, rehabilitate, overcome. They're there to pacify and try to lessen or slow the decline.
Sometimes all while compounding and creating more issues that need further medication.
Yes. Because they're treating the symptoms, not the problem.
I heard it put to me once that, medications like to have babies, which is a really fun way of saying it. But, this medication has a baby with this medication and all those little new side effects now. Procreate and have little baby. And you end up with this spider web of, you can't even see where the side effects now, the root cause, come from. So very quickly, I'm with my chiropractor who loves the Lord. His name is Dr. Josh Vance. And he can just tell, in addition to the fact that I'm out of alignment, that I'm just crushed and I'm really beat up and I've given up. I've had this colon surgery. I'm much, much worse. I am unrecognizably heavier. You'd have to see a picture of the way I looked back then, and I regret this, but I was so self-conscious of my weight, I would not let people photograph me, so I don't actually have pictures of my heaviest or my sickest. I didn't want to be in photographs. And Dr. Josh Vance, he can see that I am visibly beaten. And he said, what's the matter, Joe? Josh? And I just start lamenting and complaining and airing out, and I've been asking God, and for 25 years, my healing, and that guy got healed, but not me, and just... And I swear, this is what he said. He said, Joe, you don't have to live like that. What do you mean I don't have to live like that? Now, this is my matrix moment. Morpheus is offering me the two options for the pills, right? This, for me, was that moment. And I've given Josh Vance credit for this. He says, you don't have to live like that. He said, most of the root causes of what you're describing are very reversible. You just have to nourish your body right. And I remember, this is my ignorance, but I'm literally, and I said, you mean there's literally anything? I have this genetic thing. He said, it's not genetics. He says it's a lot of terrible decisions and being told that it's your genetics. And this is a chiropractor who knows more about, natural medicine.
Yeah.
You learn that Dr. Ralph Umbriaco, my good friend Daniel Belt, Matthew Sams at Healing Arts Center. There's this roster of heroes now that have been involved in our lives for years now that existed long before I came along.
Yeah.
That would have all said something similar. You don't have to live like this. You mean that there's literally anything that can be done about my problems? Yeah, man, we just need to start working on gut health. Now, we're going to unpack gut health, the gut-brain connection, probably in future shows. We're going to be talking about bifidobacterium and lactobacillus and the way that you repopulate your gut so that your immune system starts to repair and the lining of your gut and, all the things, restoring hormones. But for today, because we're about out of time, I just remember I about wept. I think my eyes pooled up. I about wept. For me, this was like this oxygen just flooded into my body. Like there was a hope. You're telling me there's a thing. And I left that day with curcumin, which we will be talking about moving forward, what it does to help you metabolize glycemic overloads that are being stored in your tissues to help drive down inflammation and things like diabetes. My father, in 6 months, after 10 years of being on metformin and then glimepiride and then being told you're going to have insulin injections, completely wipes out his diabetes with curcumin and vitamin C and berberine.
Yeah.
Again, just in future editions of this program, we're going to be setting up a lot of truths that will hopefully give you a lot of agency so that you can start exploring brand new layers of freedom that you've never explored before. If you are, as we once were, stuck in the Babylonian construct of fake foods, fake news, fake medicine, fake skies, literally everything is fake. So that you're a sick, unhealthy slave for life. God completely and radically began to move needles. Now, here's the other part of my prayer. This was not an overnight thing.
No.
We are now 8 or 9 years later now, I believe, from the worst of some of that. I'm a much older man. Metabolically, I'm much younger. Wait, what? Metabolically, I am much younger than I was in my 30s because of God's restorative medicine.
Yeah.
But it is a lifestyle. It is an overhaul. It is the refusal to treat one's self and go back to the things that made you sick. We had to spend many months playing with supplements. And in many ways, today, I'm still doing self-explorative herbal tinctures at home, and cayenne, Essiac, soursop, B17, amygdalin, B15, food enzymes. I'm going to have too much fun on this show. I hope some of you will too. You can literally live out the unthinkable and the indescribable when you understand that, yes, God can heal spontaneously, but the way we've seen it work more times than not, God will move you through a series of decisions that he wants you to make properly because he wants you to learn how your body works. He wants you to get back to off-grid living and purifying water and growing your own food in clean soil. He wants you to pay attention to what they're spraying in the sky and take steps to mitigate those harmful side effects. Because here's the deal. Would I have loved being instantly restored? Who wouldn't?
Right.
But today, by the grace of God, I sit here from a peanut butter consuming, beer drinking sloth, praying that the Lord will restore my body to a board certified holistic health practitioner as a result of wanting to know more about how our bodies work so that I can now evangelize others that are as I once was, and they are everywhere. So that's a lot of my inspiration behind the show. We will be talking where we feel these things threaten our ability to make the decisions regarding our health, our spirituality, when we're going to assemble, what government policies might be stepping on our ability to make those decisions, when Congress wants to start regulating supplementation. Because they see that it threatens a pharmaceutical lobbyist that has come to them and said, hey, we've got to do something about the fact that these herbs are running away and now they're becoming mainstream and people are beginning to figure out that they work.
That they help.
When those things come about, that's what this program will exist to do. It'll be, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you value our input at all, not so fast, here's what our take of that is. Anything that affects our health, our politics, our families, our faith, our sense of joy, our peace, anything that stands in the way of what God is trying to do for his people. That's why we will continue to be watchmen on the wall, and we're here to serve that. I know that I shared a lot today, and I didn't mean to dominate the conversation. I had a lot I needed to get off my chest in terms of messaging what this program is going to exist to do. Next week, we're going to be talking a lot more with Jamie Woodall about her journey and why she's here. And we've known you now for 25-ish years, been good friends of the family, moved all the way to Missouri to partner up with us to do this ministry. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to the very most, we want to share our lives with you, which means we hope regular installations where we leave the studio. We go out, we're going to see where people are growing food. We're going to go visit the animals where they're being aggregated to bring us clean milk, bioavailable, bioabsorbable milk. We're going to go to the farms. We're going to be talking to people that are growing herbs for medicinal purposes so that we can get back in alignment with the way that God has designed our bodies to heal. We're going to be doing a lot of that, not in this studio, but some of those segments will just be fun.
Yes.
As parents and people who adore our children, we think it's time to resurrect the nuclear family. And so we're going to open up our homes. We may spend some holidays with you. We may do, three-legged races in the front yard, adults versus kids, just to see who's got it, right? The kids in their youth, or maybe the older folks like me, who's still got the speed, who's got it, right? Because we feel like those serve as good reminders that families need to spend time together and engage with their children. So this program will be covering a lot of ground, but the spirit of it is to keep you informed and not ignorant to what pharmaceutical companies are doing, the government, or anything else that would infringe on your wellness or your sense of joy or freedom.
And part of the reason I'm so excited about this moving forward with all of the show ideas and everything too is the fact that we really wished we had had a show like this when we were going through all of this stuff and doing our research. And I think maybe one of the only people out there that was kind of doing it was Dr. Josh Axe.
Right.
So I had been following some of his stuff and then telling you, which you weren't hearing me on sometimes,
You didn't have to be sick for that long, but you wouldn't listen.
But you wouldn't listen. Absolutely wouldn't listen. But he was, I think, one of the first people that I had really found and was starting to kind of follow on all of that. So I'm really excited about this because there are so many people out there that want this kind of messaging, want this kind of a show that they can really learn from and maybe take things back and try it in their own lives and stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
I think there's a lot of programs out there now that discuss health topics and similar things, but we want to always bring it back to Christ. And stand firm in our faith and how our faith impacts our health and the importance of the design of our bodies that God created. And if you take that out of the equation, you're missing a lot of pieces.
You are.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we're all out of time. For everybody here in studio, Jamie, Katherine, thank you so much for joining us this week. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We'll be back.